I don't believe what I just saw.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
Is this the dagger?
It's September 6th, sports fans, and on this date in 1522, the Victoria made its return home to Spain. It was Ferdinand Magellan's only surviving ship after he'd circumnavigated the globe. Now, a lot of people think of this show as the Magellan of podcasts because we guide our audience on a trip all around the sports world. Just listen to some of the exotic locales we'll be making a stop in for today's episode. Rome, New York City, Los Angeles, San Diego, Winnipeg, Cleveland, Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Oh, boy.
Baltimore. Well, Sandy will probably take a cheap shot at Philadelphia somewhere in there, too, so that'll be fun. But there's no need for a passport on this trip, folks. Just slip on those headphones, get comfortable, and get ready to be taken on a whirlwind, globe-trotting journey through sports history. And let us four explorers guide you to pure entertainment riches. We've got a strong tailwind, the crew is ready, and we're set to sail into history on our latest episode of This Day in Sports.
Whoa.
Yep. Magellan.
I feel like Stan Rogers should come in right there and just give us like a little Northwest Passage or something.
Well, even though I'm married to an East Coaster, I don't want to hear any more Stan Rogers. So that's totally fine with me. The Magellan stuff. I like there was the four of us. Okay, we're taking this journey. Of course, that includes Frank. What role, Frank, would you have on a ship? What would be the thing you'd be best at?
Oh, you know what?
You already got me that sound. Let me tell you a tale.
Frank could be in charge of coffee.
Oh, that's good.
I definitely the mess hall.
Yeah,
Sure.
mess. Okay, that's perfect.
I'd make sure that
You'd make really
we're well
good-
fed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd all have scurvy, but we'd have excellent coffee.
I do like captaining boats, so
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that would be about
yeah.
right for you.
Yeah.
straws for that.
Well, I got to tell you, this is cabin that we're in right now. It's not the ship's cabin, but it is cabin, gentleman's supply barbershop. This is the place to be if you want to clean yourself up, if you're about to go on a trip to some of these amazing cities like Benton Harbor, Michigan. You want to look good when you're in Winnipeg. You want to look decent in Cleveland, and you want to look real good in LA. Don't you think so, Mike?
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's all just to say, come down to cabin. This is one of three locations. There's one out here in Mississauga we're at right now in this place. Then there's also in Toronto, that if you go into Union Station, and also down by the water as well. Good chance to get a cut, get a shave, get a ton of compliments at Cabin. Check it out wherever, any of those three locations if you're in the area.
And cabinforlife.ca, that's the website?
Right. Cabinforlife.ca is a place to go. You see, Cabin has a website. Magellan did not. That was the big problem for him.
As far as I know.
But I bet you can see a lot of people who look like Shackleton at Cabin.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You know, that kind of, that look?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mustache that goes into sideburns. That's pretty hot right here at Cabin. I'll tell you that much.
They'd help you groom it.
I tell you what, September 6th, we're talking about what happened on September 6th in sports. And I bet you got a hot one to start.
I do, but let's jump right into it. Let's just go for it here. 1920. September 6, 1920, in the first prize fight ever broadcast live on radio, Jack Dempsey knocked out Billy Miskey. Am I saying that right? It could be Misk. It could be Miskey.
Everyone who knows is dead.
Oh, that's true. In the third round to retain the world heavyweight title. After fighting 17 matches in 1918, Dempsey won the title in 1919 and then didn't fight again for over a year before this date in his first title defense.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys, first ever radio broadcast of boxing. Do you think boxing would be good to listen to on the radio? I think it might be. Like, of all the sports, baseball's the best, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think boxing might be okay.
Yeah, I certainly think in 1920 it would have been amazing.
Yeah, you'd be so excited.
As compared to anything else, you'd have just been reading ticker tapes or whatever. Like,
that's true.
Super excited descriptions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
Is there a sport you won't listen to on the radio?
Basketball.
Bowling.
Yeah, that's true. Basketball.
Bowling.
Bowling.
You draw the line.
That one, bowling. What is bowling be the worst? Terrible.
It's rolling. It's rolling.
You just hear the sound.
Yeah, it is it.
Anyway, that's 1920.
Do you get a chance? I don't know if you've ever been to you guys ever been to the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C.?
Not lately.
So, not lately. Well, there is.
I have been there, yeah.
Yeah, so Jack Dempsey had a diner in New York, and it was a giant painting in that diner that was of Dempsey knocking a dude out, outdoor boxing match, massive painting of the event, huge painting. That was in his diner. That picture, they took it out of the diner, and it's now in the portrait gallery in DC, and it's really well worth seeing because it still smells of grease.
Oh, I'll bet.
But it's a massive painting that was from Dempsey's in New York. A really cool thing to see. Yeah,
Cool.
If you're in the DC area, check it out.
If you're in the greater DC area. September 6, 1943, in the finals of the U.S. Open, Joe Hunt, a captain in the U.S. Navy, defeated Jack Kramer of the U.S. Coast Guard in 4 sets in the finals. Immediately after the match-winning point, Hunt collapsed to the ground in pain as he went to shake hands with Kramer due to a cramp that had been worsening during the last set. He had to be helped off the court and later admitted he couldn't have continued to play if he hadn't already won the match right then and there. Hunt could not defend the championship in 1944 due to military obligations in the war, and he was killed in a plane crash during training operations in 1945 in Daytona Beach, Florida. And that's obviously kind of a sad note to that, but I find that amazing because Kramer talked about it later. He said he had this feeling that if he had made one more shot, like he kind of realized I would have won the U.S. Open because he wouldn't have been able to keep going. But that last shot I went long by like a foot, he said, or something. And that was literally the end of Joe Hunt's ability to play. and he expired, right? Like, his body gave out right then and there.
I mean, that's a lot of stories in sports where like pitchers are in the 12th inning and they're going, I'm still going, and I don't have one more in me. Yeah. And they just luckily get something over that gets grounded out, and they basically
a guy
said,
misses
that was
it.
It was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, you think of people who are right at the edge, like is it Kirk Gibson with the home run, or like,
okay,
or like
Kirk Gibson, or yeah.
So let me review the list of Matt's.
So it's Kirk
I
Gibson.
had another one loaded up, and it just completely.
But
slipped
that is
my mind.
it.
Oh, I was thinking of Brett Hull. After he got the controversial goal and they won the cup against Dallas. He against the Sabres, Dallas. With Dallas, he said he wouldn't have been able to play another game. Like he was hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Shifting gears all the way up to, I believe, 1999.
Go look out.
In the first game at Baltimore's newly built NFL Stadium, the visiting Steelers defeated the Ravens 20-13. The stadium had no corporate sponsorship at the time, so it was simply known as Ravens Stadium at Camden Yards for its first season.
Catchy.
I like it.
Well,
I don't mind, like, compared to all the corporate, everything's corporate now, so it's kind of charming almost, isn't it?
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. You'd never get away with that these days.
I'm kind of amazed. I mean, Wrigley Field technically is a corporate sponsorship because it was the Wrigley company, but Fenway really is one of the few. I'm amazed Fenway has not been renamed.
Yeah. Well, Yankee Stadium is still Yankee Stadium. It's just the team name. They don't need the money.
No.
And there's Boston.
No, there's only a couple, though. Dodger Stadium.
Yep.
But I'm amazed they've held out.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they've been offered
of course they have.
all kinds of money to sell that out.
Yeah.
But there could be a backlash too.
Like that. Oh yeah, people would be pretty pissed off if Fenway wasn't called it anymore.
Yeah.
But would they stop coming?
No,
I doubt it.
They'd go there to complain.
Yeah, maybe. It's
Boston.
That's true.
It's Boston.
It's true.
Come on.
September 6, 1946. The first game in All-American Football Conference history was played today as the Browns defeated the Miami Seahawks 44-0. Jeez. In front of over 60,000 fans at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, another fine name. Founded by Chicago sports editor Arch Ward.
It's a weird way to say it.
Ward, like everyone else.
Is that how they say? Is that how we say it? I'm having a Arch Ward. The AAFC spent 4 seasons as a rival league to the NFL before merging with it in 1950, with 3 teams, the Browns, the Colts, the 49ers, joining the NFL. After winning the AAFC championship each of its 4 seasons, the Browns challenged the NFL to a championship match, and the NFL refused. The other team names from the defunct league were, and tell me how you like these ones. The Los Angeles Dons.
No.
Okay. Chicago Rockets.
No.
Later the Hornets.
Yes, okay.
And Buffalo Bills.
No.
It'll never catch on.
No chance. Try 4 times.
That name will never work.
The old AAFC.
I don't know any of these details. I lose so much in the fog of where all the football came about until they got to the NFL. There's so much of like this. They played in this thing, and then they were part of that part, and then I do lose it. And some teams I can't believe have been around for so long and survived all these amalgamations
Yep.
and failures and
Yep.
rising again.
And the AFL started soon after that,
Yep.
and then a bunch of those teams, the whole league merged with
Yeah.
There's been a bunch. The World Football League. Too.
Yeah.
Now there's a couple now too, right?
Yep. And well, not to mention the arena football and then
XFL.
try
And
the XFL.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. September 6th, 1960. American Rafer Johnson won the pentathlon at the Rome Olympics with a record 8,392 points, narrowly defeating his friend C.K. Yang of China by just 58 points. A graduate of UCLA, where he also played college basketball under head coach John Wooden, Johnson became an actor, and then he appeared in movies alongside Elvis Presley, and he's in the James Bond film License to Kill, and he was also one of the 3 men who tackled Sirhan Sirhan at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles moments after he shot and killed presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy. He also lit the cauldron at the 1984 LA Olympic Games and was one of the original founders of the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
That's a full life.
Wow.
That's Forrest Gump level.
That's like,
You're
yeah,
everywhere.
totally,
He's
yeah.
everywhere.
he is Z-Leg, isn't he? Like, it's like he did a lot.
Yeah.
And I just thought I wanted to tell that story just
That's
because
amazing.
I didn't even know any of that.
Yeah.
I had heard his name maybe from the Olympics, but
Yeah.
that's a full life.
Yeah, and people should remember him.
People should know who he is. Yeah, and maybe they don't.
You don't want to play 2 truths and a lie with that guy.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just wanted to make sure I got that in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. You got to
under
get
the
that
wire.
in there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of legacy, September 6, 1995, Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. played in his 2,131st consecutive game, breaking the MLB record streak previously held by Lou Gehrig in front of a packed house at Baltimore's Camden Yards. That night's game versus the Angels remains the most watched regular season MLB game in ESPN ratings history. Wow. Among the people in attendance that night was Rafer Johnson. That's not true.
He could have been. It's possible.
He replaced Cal Ripken at shortstop.
President Bill Clinton, Vice President Al Gore, along with Hall of Famers Joe DiMaggio and Frank Robinson. In the 5th inning, after the game became official, Ripken received a 22-minute standing ovation from the crowd, doing a lap around the entire warning track and field, shaking hands with the fans. He even hit a home run later in the game to help the O's win 4-2 and put a cherry on top of the whole thing. His consecutive game streak began May 30th, 1982 against the Blue Jays. The closest player to matching Ripken's record streak since was Miguel Tejada, who played every game for 7 straight seasons and never even got halfway there. The current active Ironman is Atlanta first baseman Matt Olson, who's nearing 600 consecutive games played. So that's 600 to 2,131 is a long way
And
to
he
go.
finished with more than that too, right?
Yeah.
It went on a bit longer before he finally sat one out.
That is something that if you were in the 90s, you would not forget. And that game obviously was watched by a ton of people, but also that's something you just don't ever forget, that run around the track, all those moments. Yeah, it was massive.
Something came to mind when you said that. I find it amazing that the president and the vice president were there at the same time.
Yeah, if anything happens, then the Minister of Agriculture becomes
Yeah, that's right.
president.
Then we have a designated survivor type
Sandy
situation.
pulling that out.
Exactly, yeah.
I just like to be in public, the two of them together.
Yeah.
I guess it happens.
Oh yeah,
right, in
they're like
campaigning and
right now
stuff.
campaign. Yeah.
But like, still,
It's pretty rare.
yeah,
It's very rare.
at
that
an
both be at
event like that. Like
Yes.
security, I bet you was pretty high that day.
Well, I would think that's 1995. That doesn't happen in 2002.
Right.
I'm more impressed by this 22-minute standing ovation.
It kept
Like,
going. I
like
remember
think about that.
very-
That's like a whole episode of Seinfeld, like
Yeah.
without the commercials.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just clapping for a whole.
He jogged around the whole field,
Oh, yeah.
right? And he
kept
high
going.
fived all the fans and
Every
shook
single
hands with
fan.
everybody. Every single
He
fan.
went in the stands. He high fived everybody.
That's what
He
took
went-
so long,
He went
man.
into Rick Dempsey's, had a beer, came back out.
Boog's barbecue.
Boobs, he had to hit Boog's barbecue.
Yeah.
Went to all the monuments and kissed them on the lips. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he went and kissed all the monuments on the lips.
Okay, at the risk of sounding
Even the Babe Ruth child one in the corner, he kissed Babe Ruth child on the lips.
Oh no! And that's the end of the applause.
and it was-
Abruptly at 22 minutes, it just stopped. They
Did
were
you
like,
just
"Whoa,
kiss Babe Ruth as a child?
play ball."
This is going to be sacrilege. Is that record overrated?
No, I don't think it is. Because, well, it depends.
I don't know that I'm
comparing
not
it to.
saying it is.
Yeah.
I just wonder. People talk about it so reverentially.
Yeah.
It's not. Let me put it this way. It sounds odd to say this, maybe too.
Yeah.
It's not one of my favorite records.
Yeah,
it's not
no,
one that
that's-
I admire as much as
It'll
others.
never get
Yeah.
broken.
No,
I don't think ever. Like I can't see that happening.
No. I mean, a hitting streak is more impressive. Home run
there-
total is more
I guess
impressive,
that's it,
but-
right? There are a lot of streaks that are more
Yeah.
impressive in a way.
Hey, a lot of life is just
Consistency.
showing up.
There it
and
is.
that's what he did. You know, there were no.
but a lot of
sick
that is
days,
luck
no-
too, right? Like all he was fortunate too. All
Yeah.
that would have happened is for somebody to slide into him while he's turning to double play, and he breaks his ankle. Like, and it's not necessarily. All I'm saying is
His wife has a baby and he's told to stay home.
right or whatever, right? Like something could have happened. He's an inner circle Hall of Famer. No, I'm
Yeah,
not trying to take
sure.
anything away
Yeah.
from his career or his greatness. He's a class act. Everybody likes Cal Ripken.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I feel like it's more, some of that streak is just luck more than it is. I know his perseverance is certainly part of that and dedication and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it just came to my mind as you were
that's true.
still, you know.
And what's weird is that was almost verbatim the speech they gave him.
That was Al Gore.
Al Gore
stepped
was
in.
like, is this
not
so
that
great?
big a deal.
I mean, the world's in trouble.
Is it?
and
Yeah. Is it big?
This guy just showed up.
Yeah.
1972, September 6th. Nearly 10,000 fans filled Winnipeg Arena to see Team Canada play the Soviet Union in Game 3 of the Summit Series. Also in attendance was Bobby Hull, who wasn't allowed to play for Canada because he'd left the NHL to play for the Jets in the WHA. The two teams had split the first two games in Montreal and Toronto, and this one ended in a 4-4 tie. The entire third period was played without either team scoring a goal. And no Bobby Hull. That's Winnipeg for you. Paul Henderson scored. Yvon Cornier. This is a tough one. How do you guys say
Cornier.
that? Cornier. I was trouble.
Cornier.
Philip Esposito.
Ward.
Ward. And JP Parise. Let's go with.
That's correct.
All scored for Team Canada.
Yep. That I don't know. And it's games ending in a tie. That's a long way to fly.
Yeah.
Go all the
Yeah.
way to Canada
Yeah.
and go to a tie, and
a tie.
you get a lot of going to Winnipeg. I feel like that's why now you start to say, okay, well, at least a shootout, like something.
Something.
I feel like
send the folks home with
I mean,
something.
yeah, it was a best of it
Of
was a best of
8.
8, which is also
Sure.
weird. But
Yeah.
do you guys weird that Bobby Hull wasn't allowed to play? Just 'cause
Funny
or-
that he signed with the Jets.
Yeah.
He's in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
but he's
Can't
not allowed
play.
to play.
I mean, that's if their idea of the whole team was it had to be an NHL player. I mean,
I guess.
I
Was
guess
his hairpiece allowed to play as well?
yes, yes, he was.
Just a
Yeah.
question.
I'm trying to think of it.
They had grandfathered
Trying
hairpieces in. You were
trying to
allowed
top
use
that
it.
burn, but that's pretty good. Yeah.
His hairpiece was not allowed to travel. It's me. Okay. 1975, 20-year-old Chris Everett defeated Yvonne Gugalong in 3 sets to win the first of her 6 U.S. Open women's titles. It was the first year the U.S. Open was played on clay, and Everett never lost a singles match there during the 3 years the tournament was on clay before it reverted to a hard court surface in 1978. In Everett's 17 years as a pro, she never lost in the first or second round of a Grand Slam tournament. And her career winning percentage as a singles player is 89.97%, second all time among both men and women behind only Margaret Court. Now, this is interesting. I think recency bias plays a factor in this. Sure. We all talk about Serena as being bar none, and I think athletically probably for sure she is. But you do hear stuff like that and think like, you know, and keep in mind, Chris Everett and Martina Navratilova are almost exact matches in age, right?
Yeah.
She had to play Martina
Yeah.
all the time.
Yes.
I don't know that Serena had a Martina or an Everett. You know what I mean? Like Serena's toughest opponent was probably her sister.
And once her sister started to fade a bit, that was
Yeah,
it.
and her sister
Yeah.
was older and like.
Yeah.
And they said their matches, the two sisters' matches, were never as entertaining as the sisters playing other people.
No, I
because
think they had a hard time
they had
playing
a
each other.
hard time. They even,
that's-
when they were younger, they got booed off a court.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember it,
California.
and I remember there were accusations that they weren't. I'm not really talking
Yeah.
about that, but I just mean Serena won the most Grand Slams, I think, by 1 or 2. But it's just interesting when you read stuff like that. You're like, well, she never to never lose in the first or second round. Like she never had an off tournament.
Yeah.
That's it's
Very
17
rare.
years.
Yeah.
Here's a little swing on this whole thing. Just a Chris Everett fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she came up to do the Canadian Walk of Fame. She like basically gave the star to a Canadian celebrity. The Canadian celebrity was, that's right, Corey Hart.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
They're like best friends. They live in the Bahamas and play tennis all the time.
Wow.
So a weird twist. It was like Chris Everett gave out.
See, now I take back all the good things I was saying about him.
We're just saying another weird fact about Chris Everett.
That is a weird one.
Frank, do you have a favorite Corey Hart song?
Sunglasses.
So many.
Okay, Sunglasses. I thought you. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
you'd go with Boy in the Box.
Yeah.
But
Never
He
surrender.
still has an official website too, Corey Hart.
Thanks, Frank.
Awake
You
the
know,
Giants.
just for those just wondering who the hell he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another thing Frank and I talk about all the time. September 6th, 2018, the World Surf League announced that it would give equal prize money for men and women across their elite tour events. This move made them the first U.S.-based professional sports league with gender pay parity, the World Surf League.
Huh.
Yeah.
To start.
There you go.
Yeah.
September 6, 1976, while teammate Bill Russell was hitting, Dodgers catcher Steve Yeager was in the on-deck circle during a game versus the Padres in San Diego. Follow me on this one. Russell swung at a pitch and his bat shattered, with 9 pieces of it hitting Yeager and puncturing his throat.
Yikes.
Yeager somehow managed to avoid serious injuries, with all 9 pieces missing his windpipe and jugular vein.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's really spooky. I do always think about a ball hitting somebody in the on-deck circle, but I've never...
I mean, let's just say it. Like, that's, horrible luck.
Yes.
And he's the only one who got hit. Like, you're in the on-deck circle, and you're the only one who gets hit by a shattered bat. It all came back?
or to the side.
Or the side versus some sort of impact.
And guys cheat too, right? Like they don't always stand where the on-deck circle is too. So they're like often even closer.
I'll tell you one guy who is standing further back now.
Yeah.
Steve Yeager.
Yeah. Steve Yeager was staying in the dugout.
How would you feel if you were the guy going, hey, Steve, over here, say Steve. He looks over and crack.
Yeah.
You took his eye off the ball.
Yeah. And then he got fucking shattered.
Yeah.
Punctured
necks
throat.
into.
He was just picking up the donut to slide it onto his bat and
Anyway, I'm glad he's okay.
Yes.
Or was at the time.
That would have been horrible. Like if that had gone,
Lord. Yeah,
would have changed
really
everything.
Oh my God, everything.
You would have
there
had
probably
to-
would have been a cage around the on-deck circle.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Scary that must have been for everyone.
Yeah. No kidding.
Steve, you're on deck. I'm gonna wait here.
Yeah,
That's what he
totally.
said in the
Steve,
Wait till the guy's on first or back in the dugout, then I will go.
Steve Yeager, the Clint Malarchuk of baseball.
Yeah, that would have been it, man.
1996, Orioles first base. We get a lot of Baltimore content today. Orioles first baseman Eddie Murray hit the 500th home run of his career during a 5-4 loss to the Tigers in Detroit. After playing his first 12 years of his career in Baltimore, the switch-hitting Murray had gone on to play with the Mets, Dodgers, and Indians before returning to the O's late that season. At the time of the homer, he became just the third player in MLB history to have at least 3,000 hits and 500 home runs in his career, along with Henry Aaron and Willie Mays. That's, woo is right. Like, if you're being mentioned with those two as part of the third member of a club. Since then, Rafael Palmeiro, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, and Alex Rodriguez have also done the 3,500 thing.
Yes.
So there's only 7, and the only switch hitters in history with 500, I believe, are Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray. 500 home runs. That's pretty. Like I don't. It's funny. You don't think of Eddie Murray as being. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. You know that, but you don't think of him as being one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we should. Like,
Yeah.
that's undeniable company. Like right there. Like there's a lot of guys who played that game who we think of as being great hitters that did not do those things.
I wonder why. I wonder why he doesn't get the same level.
I don't know. He won. He won. They won World Series.
Maybe moving around a little bit.
A little
Some of
bit,
these guys did.
Played
Palmeiro was
alongside
around,
Cal,
Pujols
so
around.
maybe a little bit in Cal's shadow.
Yep.
I don't know, but
Every time Eddie Murray comes up or he's in a photo from the Hall of Fame, people get very excited about Eddie Murray. It's funny. The comments are always, but I find they're always about Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray's sitting at a table with like 5 other Hall of Famers. Like if Eddie Murray's there, like
really?
there's always a comment. I find there's always a comment about him. Like someone said something like there was 4 guys at the Hall of Fame, like the induction. They're at just like one of those like ballroom tables,
Yeah.
And it was Eddie Murray and 3 other guys, and they're saying, "See how Eddie's not smiling?" Something about someone said something that really pissed him off. And they just that comment. I was like looking at it. It's like, yeah, everyone's having a great time, but something happened to Eddie. And then the next one was like, he's whatever. But there's always a comment about what he isn't doing in a photo. He's super popular amongst
He's
the
an enigma.
generation, but he doesn't seem to get the respect for the hitting. Final one of these longer ones, I guess you could say.
Longer ones.
September
ones.
6th. This is the establishment of the episode.
Okay.
September 6th, 2016. Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe had its debut episode on Fox Sports. The show continued for a few years, with its ratings being dwarfed by ESPN's First Take, before Sharpe and Bayless' relationship turned sour, and Sharpe eventually left the show to join First Take in 2023. Apparently, Sharpe just said that Bayless disrespected him too many times.
Yes.
Yeah, it was not good.
I've never seen the show, but that's what I kind of understood to happen. Is he was dismissive of Shannon's opinion.
Exactly what it was.
Just he insulted his career, basically.
Oh.
He compared him to somebody, and he's like, "Guy, I'm a Hall of fucking Famer."
Yeah.
And he started listing all
Skip
the
Bayless, one of the more
accomplishments,
likable voices in sports.
got a famous chef brother too.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, really?
Shall we go to quick hits?
See,
Yeah,
the
I mean,
chef-
I kind of wanted to know more about the chef brother.
Well, the guy in the mess hall of our ship will
In
tell
the-
you, Frank. What
Captain Coffee.
Want to tell us anything more?
His brother he's
I hear some typing.
Rick Bayless, and his claim to fame is he Mexican cuisine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was okay.
You know, yeah.
Maybe we could edit that out. I don't know.
Matt, drop
We didn't need to hold on
Sandy,
for that.
you alluded to this. It was coming up. It's no surprise. It's quick hits.
Quick hit.
Quick hit. September 6, 1968. Outfielder Carlos May made his MLB debut today with the White Sox. What's interesting is May became a two-time All-Star on Chicago's South Side. Wait, I'm getting to the interesting. And wore his birthday on the back of his uniform. May 17. Carlos May 17.
Quick hits! 1985, Oilers star Mark Messier was fined $325 and charged with hit and run and careless driving for leaving the scene after he crashed his Porsche into 3 other cars, crossing the center line of a road late at night in Edmonton.
Yikes.
I'm just going to leave that right there.
That was a literal quick hit.
Quick hits! In
a hard one.
1945, Philadelphia A's catcher Charles Greek George was suspended by MLB for punching an umpire during a game. After spending parts of 5 seasons in the big leagues, he never played again after the incident. Fuck you, Philly.
There it is.
Quick hit, September 6, 1943. Pitcher Carl Scheib, became the youngest pitcher in American League history when he made his debut with the Philadelphia A's, pitching the 9th inning of an 11-4 loss to the Yankees. He made 5 more appearances that season before even turning 17. He ended up having a career over a decade long, retiring at the age of 27. That's young.
Yeah. Quick hits! 2004, Tiger Woods' record streak of 264 consecutive weeks as the world's #1 ranked golfer came to an end as Vijay Singh took over the top ranking by winning the Deutsche Bank Championship at TPC in Boston. Singh birdied the last 3 of his final 4 to get a 69. It was his 10th PGA event win in the last 2 years.
Well, that's a quick hit. All right, quick hit. In 1982, a month before he officially retired after a 20-year MLB career, all in Pittsburgh, of course, the Pirates retired first baseman Louis Stargell's uniform number 8 before a game versus the Mets at Three Rivers Stadium. The Pirates won the game 6-1, and Stargell hit a single in a pinch-hitting appearance, his only at-bat. Everyone loves Pops.
Yes.
Quick hit.
Quick hit, one more from me in 2001. At 12:14 a.m., Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi finished one of the greatest matches in history, with Sampras winning 6-7, 7-6, 7-6, 7-6 in a U.S. Open quarterfinals match that lasted 3 hours and 32 minutes. Neither player had his serve broken in the entire match. The final set's tiebreak began at exactly midnight, with the crowd giving both men a standing ovation as it started. That lasted 23 minutes. No,
Whoa.
I don't know how long it lasted.
That's just made up. 1993, quick hit! Martina Navratilova was defeated by Helena Sikova, meaning that for the first time in the tournament's 100-plus year history, no American woman reached the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Final quick hit. In 1988, a huge and lopsided trade saw the Blues trade Doug Gilmour and Mark Hunter to Calgary in exchange for Mike Bullard, Craig Cox, and Tim Corky. Despite the fact that Gilmour had 78 goals and 191 points in his last 2 seasons for St. Louis, none of the players they acquired in the deal amounted to much. The 3 of them combined to score 23 points for the Blues. But Gilmour and Hunter were both key contributors in the Flames' Stanley Cup championship run at the end of that season.
Yes, they were.
Wow.
Doug Gilmour, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Doug
that's
Gilmore.
True. That's true. Let's dim the lights a little, shall we?
Yeah, birthdays.
It is birthday, and I got a special announcement for y'all. I just decided this. Everybody on my list, at least, you can do what you want. I'm gonna suggest they get a little something from Cabin. Not really, but this is what they would get. This is the kind of gifts you can give the person on your birthday list from Cabin.
I love this.
It all ties in.
Okay. Happy birthday in 1888 to pitcher and two-time AL ERA champ Red Faber. Was born in Cascade, Iowa. He's getting one of those fedoras from Cabin.
Oh,
beautiful
great
fedoras
choice.
in the
That
lobby
makes sense.
for Red Faber.
Yep. Birthday 2002, 2021 U.S. Open finalist Leila Fernandez was born in Montreal, Quebec. I'd give her a gift card.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
You know what I mean? So that she could give it to somebody. She might not have something here, but
that's fair.
She could give it to someone.
Well, happy birthday, 1962 All-Star and NBA champion center Kevin Willis, Los Angeles, California. And I'm going to give Kevin this case right here. This steamer trunk.
The steamer trunk.
Because
he changed teams a lot.
He changed teams a lot, and he has big shorts. He's got a big trunk to put those in.
You know what they say about guys with big shorts?
Yes, big underwear.
Oh, no.
You know what they say about guys with big underwear, Matt?
Shh, it's a surprise party. 1970, happy birthday to Soviet hockey star and Winnipeg Jet center Igor Korolev in Zelenograd, Russia.
What's he get?
He's getting socks because might have to mail them, and I want something light in the mail.
That's good.
So, some socks maybe with a hockey stick on them.
Right on.
Yeah, that's
right.
good.
Happy birthday in 1912 to two-time All-Star outfielder Vince DiMaggio, born in Martinez, California. The lesser-known but nonetheless pretty good player of Joe D. And I'm going to get him one of the fancy ball caps here in the cabin because they're beautiful.
He'd love that.
Yeah, they're old-styley too.
All right, happy birthday, 1978, 2001 WNBA first-round draft pick. Twin sisters, Coco and Kelly Miller in Rochester, Minnesota. And they're going to get skis. They can have one each.
They're from Minnesota.
That's right. That's cross country.
Yeah, skis in Minnesota.
Happy birthday in 1995 to three-time Pro Bowl Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews, who was born in Scottsdale, Arizona, and he is getting, I don't know if he smokes cigars, but he's getting one of those cigar clippers.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
And,
nice.
there may be a reason for that when we get to our predictions in the draft.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
And happy birthday, 1990, former number 1 overall pick in the 2010 NBA draft. The Wizards, John Wall was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm running out of products, but
we can't see them.
I'll give John some room spray.
That's
yeah.
That's
nice. Not that he needs it. It'll be nice for him on the road.
Okay. Well, I believe I'm wrapping up birthdays here.
Yeah, you are.
1996 pitcher, one of two men to throw 105 miles per hour in the baseball game. Jordan Hicks in Houston, Texas. And Jordan, he's going to get those 4 bowling pins over there, and he's either going to hit all 4 or put it right in the gutter, because that's all he does. He strikes out or he walks.
And you can listen to that game on the radio on Sandy's favorite station.
Thank you so much for that.
Legendary Blue Jay.
I love how you say, into baseball.
Oh, yeah.
in the baseball.
True. In the baseball. That's so true. Legendary Blue Jay. Holy shit. That's right.
Yeah.
For a blip.
For a blip.
Yep. Okay, well, friends, we're heading towards our draft now.
Yeah.
Now we had said before, Corey Stillman is an episode we recorded up in Bob Cage, and it's going to be released in September as our 50th. But this is sort of like a 49 and a half. It's going to officially be 50 because we want to do a special episode. All of a sudden, we scrambled to do this because we want to do a bit of an NFL preview. We don't often do current events.
Okay.
We want to do an NFL preview and then get judged on how our judge thinks we did in our picks. And later on in the season, maybe we'll come. We'll go back and remind you who we picked at the end of the year and see how correct we were.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because our baseball one went so well. So we're going to jump into football. I can't even remember most of our predictions. I have to see how
I remember saying I didn't think the Dodgers would win nearly as many games as people thought. That's doing okay.
Okay, that's not
I remember
bad.
I didn't think Paul Skeens would come up early enough to pick as my either rookie of the year or something. So I picked Kyle Harrison, and that's not working out.
That would have
as well
perfect
as
for
I
it. Well,
thought.
I think then what we have to do is then in the first week of October, we will go back and we will on an episode say, how did we do? Yeah. Here's what actually happened.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So we're going into football. And we have it's a shorter draft in some ways because not a ton of categories.
We're doing predictions though.
But these are predictions.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Matt, are we going to pick them like a draft though?
Yeah, we're doing like
sure.
a draft. So what we're doing is we're picking which AFC team we think will be in the Super Bowl, which NFC team we think will be in the Super Bowl, who we think will win Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
And then we have a fantasy football sleeper pick for 2024.
Yes, you can.
And you can pick those in whatever order you like.
Exactly, whatever you're feeling stronger with. So, Matt, you're kicking it off.
I'm kicking it off.
What do you go with first?
So with that, Mark Andrews, I gave him the cigar cutter because I think that for the AFC Super Bowl team, the Ravens.
Yes.
You got Derrick Henry on the team this year. Matt is picking the Ravens.
AFC Super Bowl team is going to be the Ravens. Okay. On the board.
I am going to pick for the AFC Super Bowl team. I'm going to be really boring and pick Kansas City.
All right. Sure.
I know the AFC I think is going to be tougher than the NFC, but I still think Kansas City is going to be tough to beat.
Okay. Well, I think it's for me. I'm going to go to Offensive Player of the Year, and I see no reason why it's not going to be Christian McCaffrey. So I'm going to go with McCaffrey as Offensive Player of the Year coming up.
It's a weird thing in the NFL. They don't usually give Offensive Player of the Year to a quarterback, right?
No,
they get
it's
the
weird.
MVP.
It's really weird.
And then it's a receiver and a running back. Okay. Just to clarify for all the listeners
very
out there.
true, though.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And also, we are recording this slightly ahead of the schedule.
Yes.
So if any of these players happen to
obviously,
have,
if they dislocate their foot.
like the entire Ravens dislocate their feet, then
that's right.
I will change my pick.
Fair enough.
Okay, it's my pick. I'm going to follow up on Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know why, just because I'm looking at it. And I'm going to go with Breece Hall.
Okay.
Running back Breece Hall.
That's a good
on
pick.
the
Sure.
the Jets there.
I think you'd also make some good money if you put that down in Vegas today.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I think he's coming up people's charts.
That guy went right up my chart.
He went right up your chart.
You know what they say about it. Mike, it's your pick.
I'm going to pick my other. I'm picking a rematch of the Super Bowl. I'm picking the 49ers to come out of the NFC.
Okay.
I know they're my team, but I also still think I know Detroit and Green Bay are coming, but I don't think they're there yet. 49ers haven't lost anybody of any key, and it sounds like Ayuk's going to sign, although we'll see. You know, maybe it'll turn out to not be the case, but they haven't lost any personnel. I still think they're the team to beat. So San Francisco is my NFC team.
Okay. Well, that's fine. And I think what I'm going to do, because you took the Niners, and I think that I probably agree with you on that, I'll just take Nick Bosa as Defensive Player of the Year. Why not? What the heck? I'll support your Niners choice by picking a Niner.
Okay. Well, I will.
2 Niners, by the way.
Yeah.
I seem to follow Sandy wherever he's going, so I will go for a repeat. I'm going to take my Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett.
Browns.
Myles Garrett.
Sure. I'm going to pick my fantasy sleeper.
Okay.
Sure.
And I am going to take wide receiver. And I think to be a sleeper, to be fair, it can't be like a common household name.
Right.
It should be a guy who's a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. We can use our own criteria. But I'm going to pick a guy named Josh Palmer for the Chargers.
Yeah.
The Chargers got rid of both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in the offseason. Palmer is going to be their number one receiver. Harbaugh's coming. They're going to do some interesting things offensively, I'm sure. I have a feeling he's going to get, and Austin Eckler's gone too, he's going to be a focus of their offense.
Yeah.
And he's undrafted in 90% of leagues apparently right now, at least at this moment. So I think he qualifies as a sleeper, and I think he could get, in a PPR league, he could be very useful.
I do remember the week last year where suddenly everyone was picking him up.
Yeah.
Near the end there.
Because I think those guys got hurt.
That's exactly
Mike Williams is always getting hurt.
Yeah. Anyway, Josh Palmer's my pick.
Okay, good pick.
Good pick.
Now, I've supported Mike a couple times. And now I'm going to upset Mike. Because I'm going to pick the NFC Super Bowl team to be the Cowboys.
That doesn't upset me.
I think the Cowboys are going to make the Super Bowl this year.
That just makes me happy that you think that could happen.
You gotta throw some darts out there to you gotta swing a little heavier sometimes.
I agree with you. There's like 3 or 4 teams that I think, I'm not being biased, but I think are right there behind the Niners.
Yes.
If the Niners fall apart and get old quickly or get hurt, Dallas could be one of those teams.
Why not?
Sure.
I say why not.
I say why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick my fantasy sleeper. Now, I did think of, I did consider a couple. Well, Sandy still has to pick, so I'll just pick my guy. I'm going to go with Buffalo wide receiver Keon Coleman.
Oh, okay, that's good.
The rookie.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I mean, Diggs is gone, and Samuel's there. Curtis Samuel came over there too, but I think Keon Coleman has a chance to do incredible things.
I hope he does, because he's very funny.
Yeah.
He
is.
He's a great
personality.
interview. Like, he's hilarious. Yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So my two picks left, I think you guys have already chosen. So for my offensive player of the year, I'm going to take Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Still the fastest man in the game. The Dolphins, we'll see. Tua's got the new contract.
Yeah, he was my second choice.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Tyreek Hill, and he's been doing a lot of smack talking, so maybe he'll live up to it.
No, not that guy. He just had another child. Okay.
We'll edit that out.
Sandy.
Edit that out, allegedly. Okay, well, I don't have to pick AFC till the end. And I don't actually get this right. You guys have already picked the other guys. Well, I guess I'll go there. I think that, because we've got receivers on the board, it'd be kind of fun. I'm going to take Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. That's going to be my
Your sleeper pick. Fair enough.
Yeah,
good.
I think that people are kind of undervaluing what the Raiders are going to do, other than they're going to be losing. And like guys like Gardner are going to be throwing that ball. So
yeah, they may lose a lot of games like 44-41.
Yeah, they could be back to those kind of that era. And when if you're in fantasy football, you don't care about anything else other than he's getting a lot of receptions and touchdowns.
That's correct.
I'm going with Jacoby Myers on the other side of Adams.
Very good.
Yeah, that's great. I am going to pick my NFC Super Bowl team, and they're just fun to watch. I'm going to pick the Lions.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's the...
It's going to make Brian Vaughn happy.
It is. Shout out, B. Vaughn.
Friend of the show. Yes.
The only person who knew this might not have been the 50th show.
Yeah.
He would have. There would have been an email.
He did the math.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave
God
Pierce
bless
will
him.
also call it something we did wrong. So that's
the
also
50th, or is the 50th? I'm not sure. Mike, you're up.
Okay, so I'm up to Defensive Player of the Year, and I'm going to take. See, this will surprise you. I'm going to take Micah Parsons from the Cowboys.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I think just because I hate the
hates the
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
I think he's one of the top candidates, and you guys have taken the other couple. So I'm happy to have Micah Parsons from the Cowboys as my Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
And to close out this football draft, I have my AFC Super Bowl team, and because I didn't take Tyreek Hill as a player, I'm going to take his team. I think the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, look out.
That's right. Heads up, guys.
Buckle up,
I tell you
everyone.
what, you roll on down to Mandalay Bay, wherever you want to go gamble today in Vegas. Put some money down on the Dolphins and the Cowboys. You are going to be a very, very happy person.
There you have it, folks. Book it. I have to say, your picks are far more exciting than mine. They are your Super Bowl picks are more exciting than mine.
I'm going for it.
Mine's boring. Yours are Cowboys Dolphins Super Bowl would be more fun.
Yeah.
Hey,
wild
more
cards.
fun than a
Yes.
Lions Ravens?
Yes,
I disagree.
that's why you made those picks.
Well, I think you got the favorites, Mike. I mean,
Yeah,
on
that's what I mean. It's
on the
boring
board.
in that sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
But hey, roll the dice.
And it's always interesting, like by the middle of the season, one of these picks will be laughable.
Let's put it this way, though: if the Super Bowl ends up being Chiefs Niners, you're going to say, it's what you
exactly.
thought. And if it's going to be the Dolphins Cowboys, you guys are going to be looking for a fucking DeLorean in my garage because you're going to be like, how the hell did he know
It'll
that?
be the stuff of legend.
Thank you.
I mean, there's still,
Let's go see. Let's go see how our judge feels about it, and then we'll circle back here.
Sure.
Outstanding. Well, this is going to be fun. Joining us on This Day in Sports, Vivieno Caldinelli is a multi-award-winning Canadian comedy and horror director. His work has appeared on Netflix, Hulu, Tubi, Amazon, CBC, and Pirate Bay. His latest movie, Scared Shitless, starring Stephen Ogg, is just starting its worldwide film festival run, picking up an audience award at its world premiere at the Fantasia Film Festival. He's been a faithful 49ers fan for over 40 years, has a winning personality, and generally wishes well for most people. It's very nice, great to have. Viv, welcome to This Day in Sports.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys.
Great to have you here, Viv.
Thank you.
Viv, tell us about Scared Shitless. I know. I don't believe it's about the 911 operator's voice. Which
No.
you got me in there. But what is the actual movie?
I was thinking about because generally, I always want to have you as part of whatever I do.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is the only one that Sandy wasn't. And I was like, well, no, that's the 911 guy, totally. But yeah, with Scared Shitless, it's a feature film we shot actually about a year ago, and like you adequately put, we're just starting our festival run, And it's about a father-son plumbing team who go on a routine call to an apartment building, and they discover that there is a genetically engineered apex predator loose in the plumbing, and they've got to essentially kill that creature and save the building and save the world.
Yeah,
Little extinction kind of thing. So it's
Right on.
that old chestnut.
and Stephen Ogg is starring in this. I remember him from Better Call Saul. I guess that's a big, but he was also a big voice actor as well, right?
Yeah, and Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, right.
Negan's right hand, and then more so is Grand Theft Auto.
Wow.
That's mainly where everyone knows him from, like legions of fans from Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, he's awesome. He's just the best dude and super talented, a lot of fun. And then Mark McKinney's also in the film. Daniel Doheny, who I don't know if did you work on Humantown? I did a pilot for CBC, and that's where I met Daniel.
Okay.
And he was with Dawn of the Dead and other things. And then Chelsea Clark as well from I forget her show. It's on Netflix. Ginny and
Georgia.
Ginny and Georgia.
She was also on kid shows with us as a kid, so she was a kid.
No way.
Oh yeah, Life with Boys and Stanley Dynamic at some point. Is that right?
Really? Wow.
May have lied about that, but she was definitely on Life with Boys.
So yeah, and then Marty Adams.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of cool people that we know and love, and yeah, it was a blast making it. And Brandon Cohen, who he wrote the script and he produced it along with Lewis Spring. And yeah, that's it. It's a lot of fun, and we're just starting.
Nice. Well, I should also point out Stephen August from Edmonton, correct? He's a Canadian actor.
I think he's Calgary. Actually.
Well, whatever it's at, he'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
He says Calgary, but if the internet says Edmonton, the internet wins.
If it's in the internet knows what's up.
Viv, we so typically we don't do a lot of sort of current events, I guess, as far as it's usually about things that have happened in the past, and a lot of our judging is not so much for the current. But we wanted to do an NFL preview this year. We did a baseball preview earlier just to see how wrong we are when the season is over. So we've given you our list. We put them in as teams, of course. We don't want you to know who picked who. But why don't we just kick it off with team one? Okay. And that was the all right. What do you guys think? Do you want to go through picks like AFC picks and then like that? That seems to be less confusing for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's just do AFC Super Bowl picks, Viv, to start.
Okay.
Team 1 said Chiefs, team 2 said Ravens, team 3 said Dolphins. What do you think of those three picks?
I can see 2 out of the 3. The third, probably not.
Shot.
I just don't think. Am I allowed to say who it is, or do I got to wait?
You can say. Oh no, you can say like the Dolphins is a long shot for sure.
Chiefs are probably going to win it again. Probably. It goes against everything I believe in, but
repeat,
or I should say, want, so to speak. But you know how it is. The Chiefs are for real, obviously, and going for the three-peat. Ravens for sure. Like that's a good pick. But they lost their defensive coordinator. They got and I think their offensive line coach from for the last 30 years. Did he just pass away or something like that? And
yeah,
I know everyone's devastated. So that's going to take its toll, or it might,
rally the troops.
Rally the troops, so to speak. Dolphins, my favorite quote is Steve Broussard when he says, there's teams that show up to fight and there's teams that show up to break dance. Not fighters. The Dolphins are break dancers. They're not there. They need weather. They need perfect weather. They can only once they play above a certain tier of team, they generally fall apart. They lost Fangio, so I don't know. I think they'll make the playoffs, and they might even win a wild card game. But if they got to go against the Ravens or the Chiefs, or I can't, or even Cleveland, I can't see them doing it.
Have you never heard of breakdance fighting, Viv? Can they not do both?
Yeah, that's what I mean. People come to fight, they come to breakdance fight. So
I see. I thought they just broke dance, but they're breakdance fighting. That okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's like maybe if an older generation, it's like a West Side Story fighting. It's just dancing.
Yeah, there you go. They come in, they look like they're a gang. They come in, they look tough, but all they do is break dance.
Sing, a little singing.
So in the NFC Super Bowl teams, we got the Niners, the Lions, and the Cowboys. And if you can try not to be biased, but I feel like it's
impossible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Niners would be my pick as well. Should I give you my AFC pick or wait for that?
Oh, sure. If you got your own,
yeah.
looks like it. Sure.
My AFC pick was the Bengals.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think Burrow is back and they're due. And yeah, if anyone's going to beat the Chiefs in the AFC final, it's going to be Cincinnati.
I like that. I like that.
You're not worried about the Burrow wrist or Jamar Chase spring training holdout?
No. I think they'll get their shit together. And, if they don't pay Chase, I think they're stupid. Like, everyone's healthy right now, so they're best. And no, I don't think the Burrow thing isn't a big deal. I think he's got a lot of time to heal. And yeah, if he plays the full season, they're done. Like they're going.
He is a difference maker.
I would at least to the AFC Championship. I would say for sure.
Switching now the NFC, what do you think of those three? Niners, Lions, Cowboys.
I think definitely the Niners. That would be my pick,
Yeah.
to be honest. And Lions, yeah, they could. I think they'll do, NFC Championship again. I just think the only thing holding them back is the one thing that's kind of propelling them the most is their head coach. I think when it comes down to crunch time and essential decisions, he's going to fumble it up. Like, going for it on fourth down all the time. I know, again, that's what got them there, but it's also what kind of screwed them in the end.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what they're made of. I think for the Lions, I think their GM's the real star of that team.
Clearly, yeah.
Because they're stacked. Cowboys, I don't mind the Cowboys. I think Dak's actually really underrated, and I think people kind of shit on him a lot.
Yeah.
Like I feel bad for the guy, but I just don't see it. I like they got Zeke. You know what I mean? Like that. Like how are they going to do that? And also, like, I think when they signed Dalvin Cook, which that was the other sleeper I was thinking about actually.
Yeah, sure.
Because if he is like, even 60-70% of what he used to be, because Zeke, other than short yardage, I can't see him doing much. So yeah, I really don't see the Cowboys. Again, I think they'll make the playoffs, wild card, maybe win a game, but that's about it. And my pick was the 49ers.
Niners. Okay. Defensive player of the year. We have Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, and Nick Bosa as our defensive player of the year. What do you think of those three picks?
Yeah, I think it's a contract year for Parsons, right? I always go with that.
Yeah,
I think that is correct.
In fantasy,
Yeah.
like I'll try to pick players that are in contract years, so they
sure.
generally do the best. So Parsons for sure. I think he could have a big year. Garrett, my gosh, he's just the best. And Nick Bosa, same thing. The one thing about San Francisco is that they don't have the defensive line depth that they usually do. They're short a few people.
right.
And so he will get double teamed a lot, but this is going to be the best secondary San Francisco's had in honestly, probably decades, like top notch. So he's going to get a lot of time to rush the passer there. So I think it's going to be a good pick, but I think they're all good picks. My pick would be Max Crosby.
Okay.
Okay.
And honestly, it was just only because all three of these guys are probably the top three picks, and it's never who you think it's going to be. So it's more just to throw, just to scramble things up.
Correct.
But I think it's all three picks, though.
We're jumping into offensive player of the year. Team one had Tyreek Hill. Team two had Breece Hall, and three is Christian McCaffrey. What are you thinking?
Yeah. You know what? Tyreek Hill is probably a lock. I think he's going to have, now that Tua is was his third year in the offense now.
Yeah.
I think, I think they're going to do very well stats wise.
Yeah. And that's your pick as well?
No, I screwed up actually. I was thinking about MVP.
No.
Because I was reading all these, and that's just where my head went. And then when I saw those three, I was just like, there's not a single quarterback. Like, when's the last time a quarterback has won MVP? So I got mixed up. So actually, my pick isn't exactly my pick. Breece Hall, absolutely. We'll see how the Jets do. I don't know. The Jets, honestly, I need to see them play one game before I can do anything with them. Because the other pick for the Super Bowl would potentially be the Jets. If I had to have a sleeper. Because if you look past, I think in the last 2 years with the Jets, if they just would have put an extra 4 points a game, they would have won 9 games,
Right.
9 more games. So all they need is like decent quarterback play with that dominant defense and the players that they have on offense. They
Which
could do
they
it.
should
Anyway,
get.
I digress. So, or I mean, let's get back onto topic. I mean, Bruce Hall, absolutely. I think he could totally do it. McCaffrey, the chances of him doing it 2 in a row, I don't think so. And also, I also think Shanahan kind of understands that he kind of used him a little bit too much. Like they'd be winning like by 20 points, and he's still in the game in the fourth quarter, grinding it out.
Correct. Yes.
You know, so I just don't think he'll have the stats to do it this year.
Sure.
My pick, I picked Joe Burrow, but again, I was looking more MVP, not offensive player of the year.
Yep.
I would say probably Tyreek Hill would be my pick if I had to pick a redo.
Okay, got it.
But all solid picks. All solid picks.
Well, yeah, we always admit there's only 3 of us picking, so it's not like we're going deep into the draft where we're trying to figure out what it's going to be. Some drafts are deeper than others for sure. Okay, so let's also talk about finally, if you talk about fantasy football, not the best picks, and we just want to talk about the sleepers. Who are the sleepers? And we have Josh Palmer on team 1, Keon Coleman, and then we have Jacoby Myers. Which are you thinking of those 3?
I literally had to look them all up.
Well, that's the
Well,
definition.
that's good sleepers.
That's good. That's good for sleepers.
So Palmer's the CFL dude, right?
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
He played for the Chargers last year, but But I don't know if he played the CFL or not. He's from Brampton.
Okay, then maybe that's what I just probably when I looked quickly, I just saw Canadian, and I thought maybe no, but yeah, I think the Chargers are going to be. I think they're going to be good. It's Harbaugh. Like Chargers are now my second favorite team. Like I don't know if you guys have a second team, but
Sure.
Chargers are mine. They always were just because there was the other LA team.
Right.
When I lived in LA, and then now that Harbaugh's there, I'm really into the Chargers. So yeah, I hope it's Josh Palmer, but I don't know. Like it's like this is such a crapshoot, obviously. So Kenny Coleman, I like and Jacoby Myers. Like I just can't see anyone in the Patriots putting up any decent numbers.
You don't see anything there, hey? No,
I don't. But hey, well, my pick too is Jordan Mason. So what do you say about that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like the only reason I picked Jordan Mason is that McCaffrey's on the cover of Madden.
Mhm.
He won the MVP last year, so he's just set up for disaster for this year.
Yeah.
So I just need to pick his backup. That's my train of thought with Jordan Mason. But if you can, I would just pick up Jordan Mason on all your anytime there's a number 1, number 2, number 3 running back, the top 3 running backs. If I can, I'll always get their backups. Just snag them.
So you're a handcuff guy, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, even if I haven't drafted that player, I'll leave a room on the bench for theirs just in case. Because
it makes sense because if the team has made an offense around one player, especially if it's one of those full blast running teams, if that guy goes down, they look at the playbook and go,
"That's it.
This is our playbook."
That's it. And you got a first round, you got a top 5 pick for nothing. Because if you're gonna wait for the waiver wire, you're gonna pay good money, or you're gonna miss it. Draft. But I think these are all pretty solid. Nothing crazy. I'm surprised, Kippen. I didn't see more Browns in there. I think Browns are gonna do really well this year. Man, they're scary.
We'll see. I figure with I'm not saying who my pick was, but Josh Allen's got to throw to somebody, right? And I think this.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
And I think they're. I don't know. It feels weird though. It doesn't feel like there was really any kind of like thought other than just like, well, Kansas City did that last year, so we should just do that too. Like, we don't need a receiver. Like, I just don't think Buffalo's really thinking about, because I don't think they really have that bad cap problems or anything like that. I know they wanted to get rid of Diggs because he was becoming a headache. But feels like a lot of people now are just like Kansas City was able to do that is because they had Mahomes.
Yeah.
But then again, Josh Allen.
Shakir, Keon Coleman. Who else do they have? Shakir, Keon Coleman. Maybe that's it. Maybe it just goes
on. Right? I think he's in Jacksonville or something like that.
Viv, have you been in a fantasy draft yet this year?
Yeah, actually, I finished. I'm in two.
Yeah.
The one I've been doing with Mark McKinney for like it's our 13th year,
Yeah.
and then I'm in one with like all my like high school friends back in
And
the day.
does anyone picked any wild cards early that you were just like very shocked that it happened? Is there any? Because I know it depends on the draft. I've had a few drafts where people are completely predictable, and then I love the ones when people are completely unpredictable. And it's not just
I
the
did it,
same list as everybody else has.
maybe me, to be honest, but they were more in the kind of little, like fourth round or so. Like I reached for Terry McLaurin
Mhm.
big time because I think he's going to have, there's going to be a lot of garbage time. And I think Jane Daniels is going to be great. I think he's been really good. But I don't think they're going to win a bunch of games, but they're going to put up a lot of points or at least pass a lot. They'll be behind, you know. And Cortland Sutton, I took too. And I think Bo Nix is better than people think. And Sean Payton's a good coach, obviously. And he's the only like legit wide receiver on that team. So I think he's gonna get a lot of balls. So I remember I picked him like to be my flex. And I grabbed him maybe a round early just to be safe because everybody else, you get in this weird like Tank Dell area where I just like, like where he falls kind of thing. And it's just like, how many balls are Diggs going to get? How many balls Tank? Like once you start getting into those kind of areas, it's just like, and even San Francisco, like, it's going to be Debo Samuel, it's going to be it's going to be Kittle. Like who's going to get these balls? Like they'll have great games, but the consistency won't be there. Yeah. And I think what's better, getting like an even like 12, 13 points a game or getting like 28, 7,
Yeah.
9, 25, 8. Like nothing drives me more crazy than that kind of inconsistency.
That's my theory with fantasy football that everybody looks at me cross-eyed about, Viv, is that I feel like the best test of a team is everybody sets their lineup Tuesday at noon from the previous week.
Yeah.
So you have a roster of, say, 15 players, right? And you then can pick your starting 8 or 9 or whatever from that 15 after the week's over. Because none of us have any idea. We don't. We pick good players, but you don't really know, who's going to get goal line usage, like all that stuff. It's such a crapshoot that I feel like a better test. I know it's kooky, but I feel like the better test of depth of team is like, I have 4 good running backs and I'm using the 2 guys who had good weeks or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is a complete crapshoot. Like, honestly, if I auto draft, I'd probably do better. This was the first year I didn't really pick many Niners either. I'll always pick Niners defense if I can, and I'll take the kicker, just because the defense legit reasons, but the kicker just they're going to be in the top tier of scoring, so just you're going to benefit from that. But like after like your first few picks, none of those people are going to be on your team. Come mid-season, you know what I mean? Like it's all gonna be waiver wire and trades. Like I would say, at least half your team is always that. So after that, I don't really sweat it too much. But yeah, right away Tuesday, set that lineup.
Yeah, I think there is that game out there. I think that's best ball, isn't it? Best ball fantasy, where you just draft a lineup and then it automatically chooses the best lineup of your lineup.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there's like a lot of weird now. Like since fantasy's become so like. It's insane the amount of information and content we can get now. Like I know I sound old, but it's just like we talked about this a lot, Sandy, just about like waiting till Wednesday to get stats in the paper. There was nothing. And now it is just an all-out assault on the senses to get like information. I remember it was like 93 or so, 94 in July. I just so starved for NFL content when I was a kid in like 93, 94 that I recorded on VHS an episode of Wheel of Fortune because Steve Berline was going to be on. And not Dallas Cowboys. Like I think this was like Arizona Cardinals with Steve Berline. Like literally like the lowest of like but it was NFL and it was content and I was all in. Yeah. And now it's just like how big the NFL is and just like NFL Network and stuff. It's just amazing. But all now like how fantasy is just so like ingrained and
that marathon on the marathon on ESPN this year was crazy. The fantasy football marathon where they were trying to get people to sign up for one of the big betting sites, and basically they were it was going on and on for hours and hours and hours every night on ESPN. And then they'd say, we've got our 10,000th member. Let's keep signing up. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. And then they do content. And then they come back and they go, we just got 200 people in the last 3. Okay, it's like, it was almost like a telethon to get people to sign up for a betting site. And they gave them, instead of, a kid tap dancing on a telethon, they gave them fantasy football information while they were trying to get them to sign up for the site. It went on for days and days and days. It was crazy. Yeah. Wait.
Oh man, that's insane. There's another league too where like I think you have to lose or set the worst lineup.
Oh yeah.
Thing, and it's an elimination and all of that. It's hard. You only have so much time, and then fantasy just like sucks up everything. Really, like, yeah, it's just like that's all I can do now is just watch football, really, because I don't have time for anything else, and football takes so much of your time. But there's nothing better than Sundays.
It's like a full-time job, yeah.
It is.
No, there's nothing better
like
than
having another full-time job. Like Sundays, man. Like it's the best day to work. Like you can just watch football, have it on the background. You just work on your own pace, whether you got to write something, do whatever, And
it's like Alec Baldwin's character in Concussion says, you're talking about a league that owns a day of the week.
Yeah,
like they literally do. Like everybody schedules around the NFL, like every other league. Like
60 minutes gets bumped every single time.
Well, and they're going after holidays now too, and like other league holidays, like Christmas Day. Now it used to be the NBA's, and the NFL's just like, no, we're going to do that. We're just going to schedule a regular season game, and we're going to destroy you.
Yeah, like we're going to have 5-1 ratings. Yeah.
The only thing that I don't think they can do is college, and I think they understand there is a good kind of relationship
Saturdays are for college.
But I think once the college playoffs really start taking off and they open up another another bracket, I think that's going to start to really, because I know we like how, but down there, man, that the college is
you can't touch it.
Religion.
No.
Huge.
Circling all the way back.
Yeah.
We have to get a decision out of you. I think we already know where you're kind of going here, but I'll just review the teams and you can tell us which of these 3 teams wins this draft. Team 1, Super Bowl is going to be Chiefs, Niners. Micah Parsons, Tariq Hill, Josh Palmer's there as your sleeper. Team 2 has a Ravens, Lions Super Bowl. Defensive player, Myles Garrett. Offensive player, Breece Hall. And your sleeper is Keon Coleman. And Team 3, this is going to be a great Super Bowl. Dolphins, Cowboys. Defensive player, Nick Bosa. Offensive player, Christian McCaffrey. Fantasy football sleeper, Jacoby Myers. Which team do you choose as the winner of the draft this week?
I'm going to say Team 1.
Yeah.
Team 1 seems by far the most probable. The Chiefs clearly, well, I don't know if they're clearly the favorite, but they are, they should be. And San Francisco would be number 2, just by going the numbers. Parsons, like I said, I think he makes the most sense being in a contract year. Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I think, and Josh Palmer, why not? I certainly, that's not going to sway a decision, the sleeper pick, because those are the biggest crapshoots out of them all. Yeah. But I think definitely Team 1, and that'd be my first pick, I think.
Good, Mike, for sure.
Than my own team.
Which of these Super Bowl bets though would win you the most money?
Yours.
It would be Dolphins Cowboys.
Oh, for sure.
That's my vision, that I'd be at Mandalay Bay with throwing down
rolling in money,
$100,000 out of a line of credit on the Dolphins Cowboys.
I will say, generally with Super Bowls, it's always whatever is going to be like once the 2 teams are set. It's always what's the best story generally wins. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you kind of track it, generally, it's hard to say at the beginning of the year, but once the 2 teams are set, once the championship games are done, and you look at them and you think, what is the best story? If the Chiefs get in, they're winning.
Right.
Unless the story is like what's bigger, the 3-peat, which has never been done, or unseating the 3-peat.
Yeah.
Well, I would say the biggest story of those 6 would be if the Lions made the Super Bowl. I think that's your biggest story.
The Lions would win if they win just based on that. If it was set, Ravens, Lions in the Super Bowl, Lions would win that game. Cowboys and Dolphins, probably be the Cowboys.
Can you imagine if it's If it's the Lions and it comes down to a coaching decision, like does he go for it on fourth? Like that would be.
I think I'd like to see now we were talking about. I'd like to see a Lions Browns Super Bowl.
That'd be good.
That's actually not impossible.
No, not at all. No, I think finally, Deshaun is. I think it's going to click now because it's tough getting into a new offense and with everything that happened. Like poor guy. And I'm joking. But
we've just been canceled. I just looked in the sheet. We just got our phone just lit up.
Yeah, that's it.
But despite the lousy shit he's done, it's just learning a new offense is tough and coming in like that. So I think they'll probably click, and I think they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be like that defense is just incredible. Like they beat the crap out of San Francisco physically.
Yeah.
We're going to be tough. And I think, if, Deshaun can produce a little bit, because it always revolves around the quarterback, obviously.
Well, I would say that just as in some parting words, as our friend Eric Toth often says, as long as the Browns don't do the Brownsiest thing that the Browns ever did in a game that needs something, they got a shot.
But I would say, unfortunately, for Browns fans, if they do make the Super Bowl, the best story would be Deshaun Watson falling on his face. So
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Man. Viv, thank you so much for doing this. You're more informed than the three of us combined, it seems. But Mike is our champ, and that's how Niners fans roll, guys.
Yeah, I guess so. I had no idea. But yeah, thanks so much for having me, man. It was fun.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Viv.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, maybe I remember also our judge for baseball, Steve Gardner, was he might have been a little bit off in his predictions, right? We don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, that's true. We should have him back.
Our judge, who knows if it's going to be accurate or not? I had some of those picks I think are pretty good. Some of those picks I don't know. So it's going to be interesting. We will circle back in the new year and see in January how close all of us were, including our judge. Probably have the judges back. We have the judges back. Gardner should come back for baseball.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
our judge come back for football.
Every year we should make it a tradition.
Yeah, they come back and they have to be raked over the coals as
That's
well.
right.
Or a globe.
And so do we.
Yeah. Well, that's another episode of This Day in Sports. This was September 6th, if my calculations are correct.
They are.
And they usually are when I get in my DeLorean, or you don't know where I'm going to end up.
Yeah.
So September 6th, all the things that happen in sports. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I'm Matt Kippen.
I'm Mike Shera.
Who's over there?
That's me, Frank.
There's Frank over there in the galley, cooking up a storm.
Cooking up a storm.
What are we eating?
Thanks, friends. We'll see you soon.